Hey, TikTok, I want to talk about my transformation and what I had to do or how I got there and how I changed my life back to where I was supposed to be. So let's start with a few pictures. So in the first few pictures here, you see when I was young, I was in great shape. At the age of 31 and 32, I competed in two bodybuilding competitions. Then, shortly after, for a couple of years, I was more or less, the same. And then my business fell apart. I got divorced. I fell into a depression. And at the same time, my dog died, my cat died. And that's happened all within like 6 months. And then I decided to move from Europe to America. And as you know, the portions are bigger in America. There's more calories in the food. And within 6 months, I gained like 50 or 60 pounds and I couldn't get rid of it. And here are the pictures. So, how do I go from being in such a great shape to looking like that? Basically, looking 9 months pregnant with a fat belly. And like, how did that happen? So, I tried to get back into the gym many times, and I was doing well for 2 months, and then I was doing poorly for 2 months. And the reason why I never got back into shape was because I had so much stress and pressure around me, where I had bills to pay, I had obligations and business, and things were not going well at all. And so, and because I'm a stress eater, I ate more. And when you're suffering in all your areas in your life, and then you need to suffer on a diet, it's basically too much. So I couldn't suffer. And I used food as a comfort. So, or as a reward, if you like. And so basically to make myself feel better when I felt bad, and you could almost say like an emotional cushion. So the belly was like an emotional cushion that protected you from, you know, outside influences, so to speak. Um, and for some reason, and I don't know, on a psychological level, I just couldn't get rid of the weight. And imagine my wife. She met me when I was in great shape, and then shortly after, I looked like that. And I had to hear like 20 times, "Don't eat so much. Your belly's getting too fat," and God, why? And it's just all this negative talk. And so after years, and it was like 15 years, 17, I don't know, many years of never quite getting back into shape, trying and then failing, and then trying and then failing. Eventually, I was at a point where I almost got divorced, and I was like, okay, this is it, Either I'm going to change my life now, I'm going to change my body. At least, let's say I'm gonna get love because I'm gonna look somewhat normal or good, because who would love someone like that? And I know that sounds horrible when I say it like that, but it's kind of like how I felt. So I thought, if I can change anything, it is at least my body. So at first, I decided to just follow the following rules. Number one, I'm going to go to the gym every day, no matter what. And I started first day, 30 minutes or 20, 30 minutes. Next day, same. And every time it got a little bit longer. The second thing I told myself was, okay, if I work out every day, I do cardio every day, and I go on somewhat of a ketogenic diet, which means I limit the amount of calories and, basically have almost no carbs, just protein and vegetables. After 3 or 4 months, I can't but be in shape. You must be in shape because, you're in a calorie deficit and you're eating lots of protein, you're working out. So there's no two ways. You must be in shape. So that was my approach. And lo and behold, after like 5 months, I got into shape. And here's the result. So even though I was in, pretty good shape, I was still somewhat on the skinnier side. So because I didn't really have a lot of muscle, but I was happy because I got rid of my belly. But then another episode happened. I got into another big fight where basically my wife kicked me out of the house, and that was basically just before my birthday. And 3 weeks before I was planning to do my comeback show. And because of this whole scenario, I didn't do the show. I was really sad. And for 3 months, I left and went to Europe. And what happened during that time is basically I self sabotaged my success. And I didn't eat properly. And I lost a lot of weight. And I got really, really skinny. And for the first time in like, I don't know, I would say 20 years, I got below 100 kilos. First, I was 99 kilos on the scale. And this was a lot, I was like 130 kilos, which is about 285 pounds. So, and then I lost so much weight and I got even to 94 kilos. Imagine that. And I felt when I looked in the mirror like someone from Auschwitz, from the concentration camp. But then I got back and I was like, okay, I made up with my wife and I said, okay, back to the gym, do it again, And then for 5 months, I was working out. And finally, in July 2023, I was able to compete in my comeback show in New York. And it was one of the happiest days of my life. Not because I didn't play, I think it was like fourth and I didn't place in another category. It was, the placing was irrelevant. It was the fact that I followed through, that I showed up, that I finished what I set out to do, and I actually did the show again. And that was my biggest goal. It was a big emotional milestone that I set out to do. And I was so proud of myself. And, it's been like a year since that happened. And in that year, I've made a lot more progress. I did another show last June, which I won my category in. And, I'm progressing. And for, let's say, the last 2 years or a little bit more than 2 years, I've been consistently in good shape. I'm also going to be 50 this year, so I'm also somewhat advanced in age, but it's kind of like now or never for me. So at this point, I'm not getting any younger. And if I want to ever, do well in bodybuilding, which I should have done in my 30s, it has to be now because, I wasted so much time and so many years. So the plan for the coming future is this. I'm going to compete in November. I've turned 50 in October. And I'm trying to do a national show. And if I win that category, I can win a pro card. I don't know if it's realistic this time or not, but I'm going to try. And if not, I'm going to try next year. And if not, then the year after. And I'm going to see how far I can take it. And once I do that and I got a pro card, I don't know what I'm going to do, basically. I always said I'm going to do bodybuilding till I'm 50 and then I'm going to start doing yoga. So I might, extend it for a few more years and then, switch to yoga. But basically, I need to find out what could have been. Because, after the age of 32, if I really had continued, I think I could have really become a big name because I feel like I have the potential for bodybuilding. But, life had different plans for me. It's, I'm okay because I have had 3 more children in the meantime. So I'm happy about that. But now it's my time. It's my time to, live the life that I could have had and see how far I can take it.